because they're brilliant people in their field of where they come from, you know. But it's just like if you took me back to New York City and throwed me out in the park, I'd be lost. And that's the way most of these people, world travelers, come here to this one. They go out in this country and they have no idea what they're getting into. Because I mean, one wrong slip and you could be dead, fall 1,000 feet, or you could drown in the river, or you could, you know, there's just so many hazards for people that's inexperienced that come here and they don't realize. That's guys that, see, I spent my whole life on that river. I started running cattle down there when I was 13 years old. I and my brother built a boat and we boated them down and put them out on these river bottoms you couldn't build a trail onto. But that was my whole life. I and my brother built half the trails down this river from here to the confluence of the river. But people, strangers come in here, and I've been in the tour business, and I've met lots of people from all over the world. And it's just all new to them, you know. Like I say, if they took me back to New York and threw me out, I'd be lost. I wouldn't have any idea which way to turn, and that's kind of the way a lot of these people are that come here. For the last 6 years, well, I quit last year, but for 6 years, a bus tour called Tuck Tours, and they're a worldwide company. They go all over the world. But they come and did a tour in Moab every week. So every Saturday they hired me to get on the bus with their people and ride out to Grandview Point into the Canyonlands National Park, which is said Grandview Point's about the center of the park. You're up 2,000 feet above where we're at now. And so anyway, I done that every Saturday. I'd get on the bus and just ride out there and tell them people stories about my life. I run cattle in that country all my life since I was 13 years old. So I know every water hole, I know every trail. And in '53, the miners, they come in. The government wanted uranium. So they started prospecting this country for uranium. So these miners, they just took their bulldozers and went down every old horse trail that the old timers built under these ledges, and build a road they could get down their jeeps so they could get down there and prospect for uranium. That's how all the roads in this country got built. If it wasn't for the oil companies and the uranium miners, there wouldn't be very many roads off of this highway, because they build them all. Since then, the Forest Service has come in and upgraded the ones going up on the mountain. But the oil companies build every good road going onto this mountain. The Forest Service and the counties now have thrown together and built this loop road and oiled it and made a nice drive for tourists. Make that swing. It's about a 70-mile ride from here up around the hill and back down the river to Moab. But the old miners and the oil companies built most of the roads off this highway here. Wasn't for them, they wouldn't be no roads, I don't think. But they just followed the path of least resistance, just like the old timers, the old settlers, the cowboys. The only place they go through these ledges is where there was a crack in the ledge and enough dirt to build a trail down, you know, to get the cattle from up here down 2,000 feet down into canyons or somewhere. And so when the miners come along, they just followed the path of least resistance, which was the old horse trails that the old cowboys built. And so they just pushed their dozer tracks right down that. And that's the way the roads all got built in this country.
When it comes to hikes around this place, I've noticed there's a lot of places that it's obviously man-made. I'm assuming dynamite to make paths for us to just walk in. But when you were younger, those weren't there, right? It was just mountain and it was all.
Well, the old timers, Moab, even from the first settlers, they had gold mines up in these mountains here back in the 1800s. So them guys were miners, all of them, mining for gold and silver, and then they discovered copper 40 miles south of here. build a big copper mill. So them guys are all familiar with how to use dynamite and stuff, you know. And then when the livestock men come in, I know myself, I wasn't a powder man, but I had friends, their family had been in the mining business forever, so they knew how to shoot powder and all that stuff. So down on the river, if I run into rocks, ledge or something I couldn't get through, I'd probably go get one of my friends that knew something about powder and had powder, and he'd go down and blow the rocks out of the road for me. But I finally went to mining and learned how to use it myself too. So a lot of the times we'd build a trail and be a rock ledge in the road or something, we'd put powder under it or drill a hole, and drill it with a hand steel and a hammer then, them days, drill a hole, put powder in it, break the rocks off.
So you're one of the reasons people like me can go on hikes and actually be able to get to some places because there's a rock that was kind of just...
You couldn't get there before. Somebody chiseled it off, shot the rocks off, and widened the trail so people could
For a lot
walk.
of trails and hikes, it was probably you and your friends is doing.
Well, yeah, a lot of it. Then when they started making the national park, and Arches National Monument was the first, and then the old miners went to work out there. And so, like the trail going up to the Delicate Arch, back in 1953,
Oh yeah, that's all man-made.
I was punching cows with a guy named Jim McPherson running cattle in that country then. And that spring we was together in 1953, and a guy named Wimburn had gone to work for, but he was an old miner. So they had him up there at the Delicate Arch, and you know, if you walked up there,
Yeah, on the
just before you
north
get
side.
there, you know, you go along the ledge where it's been shot out. Well, old Wimburn, that spring of '53, he was there with the hand steel and the hammer, drilling holes, put powder in to shoot that trail off like it is now. It used to be a rolling slick rock, and you had to really be careful of skinny around there. In '53 is when they drilled the holes and shot that path out, so that you can walk up around there now. A guy named Wimburn was one of the first maintenance men for the Arches National Monument.
And it's funny because everyone who's gone to the Delicate Arch, they have to go through that unless they kind of make the wrong turn and go south, right? Where there's kind of dip. It's hard, you can get to it, but it's pretty difficult. So the north side is where it was blown and it's pretty smooth, it's really easy to walk on. But you actually know the story, and then the before it was what it is now. But I've always wondered who it was that did that.
Well, if you walked up from where you park your car, it's 2 miles up the hill to the Delicate Arch, and you gain about 200 feet elevation. And that used to be the old timers had a horse trail there, where you went up, and when you get up to the arch, you look to the north. There's a big grassy flat out there called Winter Camp. And then, so the old cowboys built this trail to get up there. But when you get up there and they went out into the flats of Winter Camp, then there's that ledge that takes you on around into the arch, and that's the one where Merle Wimburn hand steel drilled them holes and shot that ledge off, so people could walk around that rock and get around into the arch.
Wow, wow, wow.